and I want to go back into your younger days. You were an adult porn star, and you were adult film, and you say you kind of, it's not that you regret it, but maybe it's not the highlight of you don't want to put that as a highlight of your life. But my
I don't
question,
I don't want anyone to think that that's something they should pursue.
got it, got it,
Yeah.
got it. So do you think that changed you in a way, the way you see women, the way that you kind of conduct yourself through life? I mean, I got to believe that somehow there's something there that you probably I'm going to guess that you see things a little bit different than most men do, that are not, don't get the chance to, to bang, 200-300 women in sets. And
Yeah, it you know what it does is it didn't make me jaded or bitter or anything like that.
Mhm.
What it did do though is it took the power of sex away from women, right? Because yeah, I've had quite a numerous amount of random sexual encounters with all different types of women, right? So that means that no woman I interact with on a daily basis now has that sexual power over me, because there's nothing that it's not as, not to say that it's taken away the fun of sex and the magic of sex. I still enjoy it, and I still enjoy connection with a partner, but it's not something a woman can sort of dangle in front of me now
Mm.
and tempt me with in any way. But ironically, it's given me more like control in that
Interesting.
regard.
I
It's
gotcha.
this weird paradoxical situation, I suppose.
Hmm.
And I kind of try to teach that a little bit when I talk to guys. It's like, because if you can approach, as a practical example, if you can approach in a relationship, if you can approach sex as a from the mental framework of it being a reward for your woman rather than sex being a reward for you, the man, well, that flips the power dynamic on its head, which often gets men in trouble, which often causes men to make dumb decisions or to supplicate themselves and let themselves get, emasculated, just to try and get some sexual gratification and sexual satisfaction. But if they can think of the dynamic the other way around, it can help to fix a lot of those problems.
Hmm. Very interesting. It's a different angle to take. Women have lost a lot of their feminine appeal, I think, in my humble opinion, over the last probably decade. You see women start being more boy-like, more man-like. They want to do everything a man, does. Um, they want to be the boss. They want to be the leaders. They want to be, kind of, what's your opinion on that? I mean, for me personally, I think that there's something beautiful. The feminine energy is beautiful. It's very different than masculine energy. But when women try to step into that masculine energy, there's a big, big problem. What are your thoughts?
I would agree with your diagnosis. I think the solution to it, however, is it comes back on men, because women will follow our lead. Women have only been led astray like this because men kind of allowed it and encouraged it, and in a lot of ways like kind of pushed it in that direction. Like as a society, men saying like, "You go, girl," like, go chase a career for 40 years, delay motherhood until your mid 30s when you have a geriatric pregnancy. Like we've
Yeah.
proactively, in a way, encouraged this. But now we're in this, in the last 3-4 years, we've seen like a kind of rebound effect from that, where there's lots of men and women talking about this problem of men not being masculine and women not being feminine, and in their natural polarities. And so to get back to normality, men really have to. Don't want to use the word hold women accountable, but men need to set their standards and kind of draw a line in the sand. And you would be surprised, like uh, the number of women I've been on a date with who were feminists at the start of the date, and at the end of the date they're not really feminists anymore. It's if As long as a man is attractive enough to her and draws a line in the sand, and is clear about his boundaries and what he values, if she's if she starts to fall for that man, well, she will follow his lead and she will fall back into in her natural feminine. Women want to be with a man they can look up to and they can respect and they can follow his lead. So I think collectively as men, we have to be it's only going to fix it if we do it. We can't sit around and expect women to, get back into line and to get back in the kitchen or whatever,
Sure.
right?
Sure,
As a bit of a trope, right?
Sure.
We have to be the ones to be proactive about it first, and it's not done in a way by trying to force a particular behavior on women. It's just, it starts in the kinds of women you let into your own personal life. And it's like, okay, well, I just will not interact with women who are masculine like this.
Sure.
I'm personally only going to allow women who are feminine into my life and to take up my time and my energy. So, and the more you do that, the less you see of these sort of more hyper masculine women.
Very good point. So let's kind of uncork that just a little bit more. You talked about, the man pretty much being manly and, immediately setting the boundaries of what he likes and what he doesn't like, and so on, kind of setting that framework. Do you think that a lot of men are weak out there, that immediately they get dictated by women? And going back to one of the things that you said earlier with it, which I think is amazing and spot on. I haven't heard that many men say that, and I've been saying that for a little bit, and it's about that a lot of the reasons why women now are leading in the households is because men were weak and couldn't lead themselves out of an open fucking door. That's problematic. They, all of a sudden it's like the woman's waiting for the man to lead, and he doesn't. He's just so weak and rather just let her lead. So kind of circling back to this particular situation, the confidence that a man exudes when he is, saying exactly what you're saying. Hey, I'm going to draw my boundaries. I'm going to get around women that are feminine. I mean, how does a man really start building that? Say a man comes from, weakness, but he wants to start getting this confidence back. Give me an idea of maybe what you would tell a man.
Right. Well, confidence is derived from competence. So you need to, if you want to truly be a confident man in anything, well, you need a degree of competency in things. You need to have had experience challenging yourself. You need to have experience getting put back on your ass every now and then and getting up again. You have to have overcome challenges and obstacles in your life. That's why men typically become more attractive to women as they get older, because they just become more competent and thus more confident, and they are able to kind of enforce their own boundaries because they have the experience in the past of saying, you know what, this ain't as big of a deal as I think as I might make it out to be. I can overcome this challenge. I can overcome that challenge. I can overcome that challenge. It's not a big deal. And so, yeah, a good starting point for any man who is lacking confidence or wants to start building on himself like this is put yourself in uncomfortable situations. That's it. That's the basic golden rule. The more you push yourself out of your comfort zone and try new things, overcome new challenges, learn new skills, whatever it is, you're going to start building on that foundation of confidence. Because confidence isn't this just magical, ethereal thing that you get as a result of doing one thing. It's a compounding effect. It's like a snowball. Mm-hmm. So you've got to build on it like that. And I think a lot, you kind of touched on this earlier, a lot of men are lacking in that department because they haven't really done much with their life. We, unfortunately, the most beautiful thing and simultaneously the worst thing about American culture in particular, I've looked at America for the last 5 years. American culture in particular it's the most comfortable culture on the planet that there has ever been. It is the most it's the best part about it, the worst part about it. So with all those comforts of the society, yeah, that's great and all, but men no longer have to struggle and strive to kind of make their way. It's easier to just coast by. It's easier to just stay in your comfort zone and get on with life, get by. And you wake up 10, 15, 20 years later and you're like, well, I've got nothing to show for my life. And I don't feel special. I don't feel competent. I don't feel worthy of a woman's affection. I don't feel worthy of wealth. And wonder why, because you've never pushed yourself in any way.